Welcome to another edition of Charter Communications Local Edition. This one with Randy Staver, the City Council President for the City of Rochester. Thanks very much for coming on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Interesting, your city, unlike any in Minnesota, and I got this offline just yesterday, was named in the top 50 of the best cities to live.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that's very admirable about the city of Rochester. We show up on one list or another, it seems like, fairly routinely.
You do. I mean, and you take credit as the chamber president for that, I presume.
Well, as a council president, I'm very much like to be at the forefront of a lot of our progress, and I'm very humbled, but very proud also.
And how long have you been the president?
I'm completing 6 years on the council, 4 years as the president, okay. And now I was just reelected for another 4-year term.
And in that time, you've seen huge changes to this city. I mean, not that the city hasn't always been progressive. I think Rochester, for those of us in southern Minnesota, have always thought of it as progressive. But this city has taken on a new dimension to that progress.
Absolutely. I've seen Rochester double in terms of size in my lifetime, and now with the advent of things like Destination Medical Center and some of the other things we have planned, the horizon is just phenomenal for what we can accomplish.
And your vision for that, what is that? What is the end goal here? I know DMC's got to get completed. That's going to take a lot. What does this city look like at the end? What's your thought on what it looks like?
Well, I think we use a lot of words like inclusive and diversity and so forth. And I think what's really different as we look to the future is that we want to be much more thoughtful and strategic in our thinking. Not that the planning and progress to date has been haphazard, but I think we can be a much more diligent and as we go forward.
And what are the categories you look at it that I say? I mean, the DMC thing's almost happening. I mean, the money's been allocated. There's people deciding what comes next in that. But as the city council president, you have to kind of look at the potholes of that. I mean that in the labor force, when more people flood in, now you got schools that have more kids coming in, get more diverse. You know what I'm saying? As far as the planning, what comes next, there's a lot to it.
There is, and I think that's what's really unique about it is the comprehensiveness of it. We can't look at just building or things of that nature. It really is the entire picture: transportation, workforce, housing, and how we move things around, commercial and residential development. So it really is a much more comprehensive view than what we've done in the past.
So give me then, if you will, the 1, 2, 3. What are the top priorities for you on that list of? Everybody, we want to be diverse. Got it. That's going to happen to you. I mean, that's a great wish, but what do you do to handle that, to maintain it?
Well, I think certainly as we go forward now in 2017, there are a number of planning initiatives that will be concluding. And I think what's most exciting to me personally is that we'll now begin to execute on some of those plans. And you're going to see a lot of exciting projects come forward in the first few months. Well,
and you're talking the building, the actual putting mortar in the ground and boards up in the air so people can see stuff, because you guys have been working on this since the DMC got passed. But this will get people to see it. But I guess my point is, what do you do to bring in the workforce that it takes, to make sure they have the housing? What is it that the city council can actually do?
And those are the kinds of things that we can focus on. Government has some tools in our toolbox that we can bring to bear, whether it be tax increment financing or things like that, to encourage the kinds of development that we like to see. It's not that we're about rubber stamping everything that comes across our desk. It needs to be, it needs to fit in with the fabric of what we're trying to weave together here for our future.
And that being what? I guess I look at other city councils that don't have the DMC designation, where this other entity of money and cash, and they're going to do some stuff. Other city council presidents don't have that to deal with. They're worrying about trash pickup, and they're looking, can we get a leaf picking up machine? And here you are. You got to be thinking this is a whole other job than you ever thought.
It is. It's not something that I anticipated when I first ran for office. We've been very good to have, very lucky and fortunate to have a great relationship with other local government agencies, whether it be the school district or the county board and the legislature in St. Paul. They've helped us a great deal in accomplishing what Rochester would like to become.
And what, as the president, do you see then is the number one issue that you're going to have to fight through? hardest problem, not that these are the three things we want. What's that one that's going to make everyone come to the meetings?
Well, I think it's a number of competing interests, and it's not that anyone is right or wrong. It's just that there are a lot of great ideas out there, and I would say the greatest issue is one of prioritization, given limited resources, and we have to be very strategic in how we go forward.
That was a fantastic president's answer. It really was. Because I still don't know, what are the people coming to yell at you about when they're going to say, I didn't get this because I wanted this?
Right.
Is it my sewer and gutter? Is it the added taxes because they're going to have to redo my road? I mean, what's that one that you're just not looking forward to people showing up?
Well, as the saying goes, all politics are local, and so we still get a same amount of feedback on taxes. Property taxes, people are very, very vociferous in how they don't want to see their taxes grow. They want to see their streets in good repair. They're interested in public safety. They want their children to live in a safe environment. Those are all fundamental, and those really don't change from year to year.
And your biggest problem as far as budgeting that, again, as the city grows disproportionately to the rest of the state, and I mean in an absolutely positive way, but then you had added things like police and fire and emergency response. How do you budget for that added increase? Is some brilliant guy telling you exactly how many people are showing up here next year and in 18 and in 2020 and what you got to get to, or is this a reactionary thing?
Well, I think it's a combination. We don't necessarily fund everything we're asked to fund. We don't have the resources to do that. This year, 30 new positions were requested from the city staff, and it looks like we will end up approving maybe 5. The majority of those in public safety, because those are fundamental. Those are core to what I think local government should take care of for the citizens.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, then if 25 spots that your management seems to think they need don't get filled, I presume you're going to hear from them next year.
We absolutely will.
And at some point, it's going to be breaking in. It's like, now we're not giving the services. You've been doing this for 6 years. You understand that.
Right. Now, last year, I'll point out, we did approve 22 positions. So we try to take it in stride, and we are responsive to both staff and citizens in terms of being very prudent with the dollars that we're given to spend, but then also being responsive to what citizens are asking for.
All right. So to wrap this up, you give me, as the president of the city council, what do you want at 2017 when we come back and I hit you up with this again? What do you hope to get done? What's that big thing this year that you can put your pin in and say, at least if we got this done, I'd be a happy duck?
Well, something I'm personally very interested in 2017 that folks might not normally think about is a transition strategy. I'm not sure people are aware that we have a number of senior staff that will be retiring in 2017, 2018. There are literally decades of knowledge and experience that will be leaving our employ. I think it will be incumbent on me as the council president to lead in that effort of how do we transition and how do we put into place staff that will carry us into the next several decades, far beyond my term in office.
Okay, and then quickly, how do you do that? Is this keep some people from within? Is it bringing new, fresh blood in that can be here 20 years down the road, or what is it?
It's
open?
a combination. We certainly need to nurture our existing staff, but then this is also an opportunity. While we're very sorry to see some of our staff leave, it's also a great opportunity to bring in some fresh ideas, just a different perspective. So I'm looking forward to that experience.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on the program. This should be a quite exciting year for you, like the last 5 or 6 haven't, and the next 5 or 6 from now. But thank you very much for coming on the program. That is Randy Staver. He is the president of the Rochester City Council. I'm Al Travis. That's another edition of Charter Communications, Local Edition.